Let me tell you something. You ever get that feeling? That voice in your head? That whisper in your gut? That unshakable, undeniable, unrelenting pull, like gravity itself is trying to tell you something? That's your sixth sense. And it ain't never lied to you, not once, not ever. See, we live in a world where people doubt themselves, they hesitate, they second guess, they let logic override what the spirit already knows, but not you. No, not you. You feel it, don't you? That connection, that certainty, that deep, unexplainable knowing. And let me tell you right now, you ain't crazy. You ain't imagining things. You ain't chasing ghosts. That feeling is real. That instinct, that gut reaction, that thing that makes no sense but makes all the sense in the world, it's right, dead on. And let me tell you why. Because you have been here before. You have walked this road. Maybe not in this life, maybe not in this body, but somewhere, some way, somehow, you and this person, your person, have crossed paths before. The universe don't play dice, my friend. It don't do random. It don't make mistakes. And when your spirit knows, it knows. But here's the thing about love, real love, soul love. It ain't easy. Nah, it ain't simple. It ain't convenient. This ain't a fairy tale. This ain't some scripted romance where everything falls into place with a pretty little bow. No, sir, no, ma'am. This is life. This is raw. This is messy. And let me tell you, when love is real, when it's destiny, oh, you better believe it's going to be tested, because the universe doesn't just hand you the things that matter. It makes you fight for them. It makes you prove you're ready. It makes you stand in the fire, unshaken, unwavering, unbreakable. And that's where most people fail. That's where most people fold. They think love is supposed to be easy, that it's supposed to be effortless. And when the storms come, because they will come, they walk away. They quit. They let fear win. But you're different. You're built different. You're cut from a different cloth. You were made to endure. You were made to fight for what's real. And this person, the one your soul recognizes before your mind can even catch up, they are real. They are meant for you. But, there's a catch, because there's always a catch. See, love, true love, ain't about what's easy. It's about what's worth it. And I'll tell you right now, this person, they're going to test you. Not because they mean to, not because they want to hurt you, but because love, real love, requires growth. And growth is uncomfortable. Growth stretches you. Growth challenges you. This person is going to make you face yourself. You hear me? Face yourself. All your fears, all your doubts, all the wounds you thought you buried deep enough so nobody could ever find them, they're going to bring them out. Not to break you, but to heal you. Not to tear you down, but to make you whole. Because you can't have love without truth. You can't have forever without vulnerability. You can't build something strong on a foundation of weakness. And so, you got to ask yourself, are you ready? Are you ready to stand firm when the doubts creep in? When the past tries to pull you back? When the world tells you to run? Are you ready to hold on when everything in you is screaming to let go? Because love, real love, ain't passive. It ain't something you find. It ain't something you stumble upon. It's something you choose every single day. You hear me? Every single day. And that choice, it ain't always going to be easy. There are going to be days when the road feels long, when misunderstandings pile up, when silence gets loud, when the weight of two souls trying to merge feels too heavy to bear. But let me ask you something. What's the alternative? Huh? What's the alternative? Walking away? Starting over? Pretending like you don't feel what you feel? Living a life of half love, half truth, half-hearted connections? Nah, that ain't for you. That ain't your path. You were given this knowing for a reason. You were given this love for a reason. You were put in this position because you are the only one strong enough to handle it. So don't run. Don't second guess. Don't let fear win. Step up. Show up. Do the work. Because when it's all said and done, when the dust settles, when the storm passes and you're standing there with battle scars on your heart and love still in your hands, let me tell you something. You ever get that feeling, that voice in your head, that whisper in your gut, that unshakable, undeniable, unrelenting pull, like gravity itself is trying to tell you something? That's your sixth sense. And it ain't never lied to you. Not once, not ever. Now, I know what the world will try to tell you. I know what they'll say. Be logical, be rational, think it through. Don't get caught up in your feelings. And I understand that, I do. But let me ask you something. What's more powerful, logic or instinct? What has kept you alive when you had no plan? What has guided you when you had no map? What has warned you before danger ever showed its face? It wasn't logic. It wasn't reason. It was something deeper, something primal, something beyond explanation, beyond calculation, beyond what the mind can comprehend. That's the thing about the sixth sense. It don't come with receipts. It don't come with evidence. It don't come with a blueprint you can show the world so they can nod their heads and say, oh yeah, I see what you mean. No, it moves in silence. It moves in stillness. It moves in a language only the soul can understand. And the problem is most people don't listen. They hear it, but they don't trust it. They feel it, but they push it aside. They bury it under doubt, under fear, under the noise of the world telling them, that's not real. That's not possible. That's just in your head. But let me tell you something right now. Your head will lie to you. Your head will tell you to settle. Your head will tell you to play it safe. Your head will tell you that what you feel ain't real because it don't make sense. But your soul don't lie. Your soul knows before you do. Your soul recognizes something before your mind can even catch up. Your soul is speaking to you, guiding you, showing you something that the eyes cannot see. And if you ignore it, if you brush it off, if you pretend like you don't know what you know, you'll regret it. Because let me tell you, there ain't nothing worse than looking back and realizing you had the answer all along, but you were too scared to believe it. Ain't nothing worse than realizing you let go of something you were meant to hold on to just because it didn't fit into a neat little box. Ain't nothing worse than realizing that you lost something real because you listened to logic instead of trusting what was already in your heart. That's why I'm telling you right now, you gotta listen. You gotta trust it. You gotta lean into that feeling, even when it don't make sense, even when nobody else understands, even when the world is telling you to walk the other way. Because the truth don't need approval. The truth don't need validation. The truth don't need anybody to sign off on it before it's real. The truth just is. And when you feel that pull, that deep, unshakable, undeniable knowing, that is the truth. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I'm wrong? What if I'm just imagining things? What if I'm making something out of nothing and that's fear talking? That's doubt creeping in. That's the part of you that's been hurt before, the part of you that's been let down, the part of you that learned to build walls instead of bridges. But let me ask you this. When has your gut ever lied to you? When has your intuition ever led you astray? When have you looked back on a moment where you didn't listen to yourself and said, man, I'm so glad I ignored what I knew deep down? I'll tell you when. Never, because deep down you always knew. Deep down you always felt it. Deep down you always had the answer. The problem was never the feeling. The problem was you letting fear get in the way. The problem was you thinking too much instead of trusting what was already there. The problem was you letting the world tell you what's real instead of believing what you already knew. And let me tell you something about this feeling, this connection, this knowing. It doesn't come often. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't just show up for anybody, because what you feel, it's rare. It's special. It's meant for you. And if you let it slip away because you were too scared to believe in it, you won't get it back, because the universe don't wait. The universe don't put something in your path just for you to stand there wondering if you should take the step. You either walk toward it or you watch it disappear. And I know that's hard to hear. I know that's scary. I know that means you got to put yourself out there in a way that makes you vulnerable, that makes you open, that makes you take a risk. But let me ask you, what's the alternative? Living safe? Living comfortable? Living a life where you never take the chance, never make the move, never trust what's already in you? Nah, that's not living. That's just existing. And you weren't put here to just exist. You weren't put here to play small. You weren't put here to sit on the sidelines while life passes you by. You were put here to feel, to experience, to love, to trust, to follow the pull of something greater than yourself, something beyond reason, something that no words could ever fully explain. And that means you got to have faith, not the kind of faith that waits for proof, not the kind of faith that needs to see the whole picture before it takes the first step. No, I'm talking about real faith, faith in yourself, faith in what you feel, faith in the fact that your sixth sense is right. See, we live in a world where people doubt themselves. They hesitate, they second guess, they let logic override what the spirit already knows. But not you. No, not you. You feel it, don't you? That connection, that certainty, that deep, unexplainable knowing. And let me tell you right now, you ain't crazy. You ain't imagining things. You ain't chasing ghosts. That feeling is real. That instinct, that gut reaction, that thing that makes no sense but makes all the sense in the world, it's right. Dead on. And let me tell you why. Because the world is loud. It will do everything in its power to make you doubt yourself. It will flood you with opinions, with distractions, with fears dressed up as logic, with logic dressed up as caution. People will tell you you're moving too fast, or you're thinking with your heart, not your head, or worse, maybe you're just seeing what you want to see. But let me ask you something. How many times in your life have you felt something this strong and been wrong? Not thought, felt. That's the difference. See, thoughts will betray you. They shift, they waver, they crumble under the weight of overanalysis. But feelings, the real ones, the ones that come from somewhere deeper than the mind, those don't waver. Those don't change. Those sit there steady, waiting for you to trust them. And you know this. You feel this. You can try to rationalize it away. You can try to bury it under excuses, but no matter what you do, that feeling isn't going anywhere. Because some truths don't fade. Some truths don't bend. Some truths just are. And this is one of them. Now, you might be thinking, if this is real, why is it so hard? Why do I feel like I'm constantly questioning it, constantly facing obstacles? Because the things that matter most are never handed to you on a silver platter. This world doesn't work like that. You don't just stumble into something real without being tested. You don't just fall into a connection like this without the universe making you prove you're ready for it. And you have to be ready for it. Because love like this, it requires a different level of strength, a different level of trust, a different level of being. See, most people don't recognize what's real when it's in front of them. They're so used to shallow, to temporary, to surface level feelings that when something comes along that shakes them to their core, they don't know how to handle it. They run from it. They sabotage it. They convince themselves it's not real, not possible, not meant to be. But you know better because you felt it. You've looked it in the eye. You've stood in its presence and known. And when you know, you can't unknow. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. No, far from it. In fact, it's going to challenge you in ways you never expected. It's going to ask things of you that you may not be ready for. It's going to push you to your limits, to your edges, to the places within yourself that you thought you could keep hidden. Because real love, the kind that shifts something deep inside of you, it doesn't just hold up a mirror to the beautiful parts of who you are. It shows you everything. The wounds, the fears, the insecurities, the things you thought you'd outgrown but never really faced. And that's why people run. That's why people walk away. Not because the love isn't real, but because the work that comes with it is too much. Because it's terrifying to be seen, really seen. To stand in front of another soul and have them recognize every part of you, even the parts you don't want them to see. But let me tell you something. If you can stand in that, if you can stay in that, if you can walk through that fire instead of running from it, you will find something on the other side that most people never get to experience. Because most people settle. They settle for what's easy, for what's comfortable, for what doesn't require them to change, to grow, to stretch. But you weren't put here to settle. You weren't given this feeling, this knowing, this certainty just to let it slip away because it's hard. Hard is what makes it worth it. Hard is what makes it real. And the world is going to try to convince you otherwise. It's going to tell you that love shouldn't be this complicated, that if something is meant to be, it should fall into place effortlessly. But that's a lie. Nothing in this world is worth having comes without effort, without sacrifice, without choosing day after day to stand in the face of doubt and fear and uncertainty and say, no, I know what this is. I know what I feel, and I'm not walking away. Because that's what real love demands of you. Not passivity, not waiting for the universe to clear the path for you. It demands courage. It demands faith. It demands that you trust yourself even when every voice around you is telling you to second guess. And I know you hear those voices. I know they creep in late at night when the world is quiet and you're left alone with your thoughts. I know they whisper doubts in your ear, make you question everything you thought was certain. But you want to know something about doubt? It only shows up when something is real. Doubt doesn't waste its time on the things that don't matter. It doesn't try to shake you when you're on a path that leads to nothing. Doubt is a sign that you're standing on the edge of something big, something life-changing, something that if you let yourself have it, will alter the very fabric of who you are. And that's what this is. That's what you've been given, a chance. A chance at something that doesn't come around often. A chance at something that most people will spend their entire lives searching for and never find. And the only thing standing between you and that love is your willingness to trust it, your willingness to believe in it, your willingness to stand in it fully, even when it scares you. Because love like this, it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to mean something. It's supposed to change something, and it will, but only if you let it. But here's the thing about love, real love, soul love. It ain't easy. Nah, it ain't simple. It ain't convenient. This ain't a fairy tale. This ain't some scripted romance where everything falls into place with a pretty little bow. No, sir. No, ma'am. This is life. This is raw. This is messy. And let me tell you, when love is real, when it's destiny, oh, you better believe it's going to be tested, because anything worth having in this life comes with struggle, comes with sacrifice, comes with moments where you question everything, yourself, them, the timing, the circumstances. Love isn't just about the good days. It's about what you do when the bad days come. When the weight of two souls trying to merge feels like too much to carry, when insecurities rise to the surface, when fear creeps in, when misunderstandings turn into silence, that's the real test. That's when you see what love is made of.